CIS467 Network Security Lab 1. So within the instructions, it says that we're going to need one router and two switches. So under network devices, I'm going to want to select the 2911 router, and I'm going to want to select the 2960 switches, and we're going to want to generate two switches. So now we want to change the host name, and what we do is select on the router the devices and go to configuration, and where it says host name, go ahead and change that to R1, and I'm going to change the display name as well. I'm just call that router, and we're going to do the same thing for the switches. So for my display name for switch 0, I'm going to change that to switch, and for host name, I'm going to change that to SW1, and for switch 2, I'm going to change switch 1 to switch 2 along with the host name of switch to SW-2. So now we're going to want to generate a connection between the router and the switches. In order to do that, we want to select on connection, which is on the bottom left corner, which looks like a lightning cable. And we're going to want to generate the copper straight through cable connecting from router of gigabit Ethernet 00 to switch 1 of fast Ethernet 01, and we're going to do the same thing for the second switch. So now, since we have the connections from the router to the switches, you may notice that we have these red indicators. Pretty much what this means is that there's no active connections from the router to the switch. In order to have a green solid connection, we have to set up the configurations between the router and the switches. And within this video, I'm going to show you the command sequence for question 1 through 10 for router and switches. So let's begin question 3, and it asks us set up the following users with the appropriate privilege level and passwords on all devices. So pretty much we have username admin, password Cisco, privilege level 1, username root, password root, privilege level 15, and username guest, password changeme, privilege level 1. So we're going to want to enter the CLI, and we're already in the configuration terminal. So what we must do is enter username admin. We're going to want to generate a secret password, which is Cisco, with the privilege level of 1, and we're going to do the same thing for BNC. So username root, secret, password root, with the privilege level 15. And last but not least, username guess, secret, password changeme, with the privilege level of 1. So since we generated these commands, we're gonna want to do the same thing for switch 1 and switch 2. So for now, I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to generate the same command for our switches. Okay, since we now have the following username admin, username root, username guest for the following router 1 and switch 1 and switch 2, let's begin with question 4. So in question 4, it says on R1, which we are currently in give the link to SW-1, the IP address of 192.168.20.1 with the subnet mask of 24 on a different interface, and we're going to do that with our other switch, and we're going to link that IP address to switch 2. So since we're already in R1, we're going to want to establish the interface. So we're going to type in int, and we're going to establish gigabit 0, and within the gigabit Ethernet 0, we now have the interface command. So what we want to do is go ahead and add in the following IP address. So type in IP add. What this does is it's going to add the IP address of 192.168, and we're going to let that communicate with that router to that switch. So 192.168.20.1 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. So that's the subnet mask of 24. Go ahead and click enter, and the next step is we're going to perform the no shut. And what this does is it's going to activate the connection between router to switch 1. Now we're going to do the exact same thing to switch 2. So we type in IT, which we're already in. So first, I just want to be sure I want to exit, and we're going to type in IT gigabit 0 1. So we're going to want to type in IP add 204.186.29.1 with a subnet mask of 29. So 255.255.255.248. Go ahead and hit enter and perform the no shut. Now this process is going to allow router of gigabit Ethernet 01 communicating with switch 2 of the fast Ethernet 01. So as you can see right here, it's communicating, indicating a green solid light. And right now, if I just fast forward, we have a connection that's established between router to switch 2. So our next question is to set up a VLAN connection on our switches. So let's go ahead and exit router, and let's set up the VLAN connection for the switch. So question 5, it says for switch 1 we're going to set up a VLAN connection of 10. So type in VLAN 10. VLAN 10, and then name VLAN-10, and we're going to want to have the interface of VLAN 10, and we're changing VLAN 10, we're going to change the state to up. So now we're going to want to add the IP address, which is IP add 192.168.20.254 with a subnet mask 255.255.255.255. Oops, I'm sorry. 255.255.255.248. Oops, that's incorrect once again, I'm so sorry. 255.255.255.0, and go ahead and hit enter within the interface of Fast Ethernet 01. So now we're going to type in switch port mode access, and then we're going to type in switch port access VLAN 10. So it says now the line protocol on interface VLAN 10 change state to up. Now we're going to do the exact same thing for the other IP address. However, we're going to do that within the second switch. So go ahead and exit that, and we're going to go to switch 2. And then from here, we're going to type in VLAN, VLAN 20, and then we're going to name VLAN-20, and then interface VLAN 20. Now we're going to type in the IP address, IP add 204.186.29.2 with the segment mask of 29, so that's 255.255.248. We're going to link that with int f0/1, and we're going to do the switch port access again. Now we're going to type in switch port access VLAN 20. Now since we did that, we can go to question 6. So I'm going to exit off the switch 2 and go to the CLI for router 1, and what I'm going to do is the following default route for R1. Okay, so we're going to want to establish the default route. So we're going to type in the following IP route 0.0.0.0 0.0.0 with the following IP address of 204.186.29.3, and go ahead and hit enter. So that is the static default route, and now we can begin with question 7, which we're going to set up a DHCP on router 1 to support the following IP address of 192.168.20.0 with the subnet mask of 24. So in order to do that, we're going to want to type in the following commands of IP DHCP. We're going to excluded dash address of 192.168.20.1 192.168.20.25. We're going to do the same thing again, IP DHCP excluded dash address of 192.168.20.254, and then the next step is IP DHCP pull I'm going to have this Lab1 network 192.168.20.0, the subnet mask 255.255.255.0 with DNS-server 192.168.20.16. So now, since we did all those commands for question 7, we can now perform the ACL for question 8. So in order to do that, we have to do the following commands. So now we're gonna perform the ACL, so type in IP access dash list standard filter, and we're going to deny the following. Deny the IP address of 117.23.54.0 and the subnet mask of 24 million is the reverse, which is 0.0.0.255. We're going to permit any, and we're going to type in interface gigabit 0/1, and now we're going to type in the following: IP access group filter in. And now that is the command sequence for question 8. And let's begin question 9, where we set up the router and the switches so that we can use SSH on our VTY lines, and we can authenticate the local users. So in order to do that, we have the following commands of. So type in IP domain name, IP domain dash name, a complete command. Oh, where'd it go? Where is it? Here it is. So type in IP. So type in IP domain dash name Lab1, and we're gonna generate the following crypto, which is spelled CRYPTO. And then we're gonna key generate RSA, and we're gonna want 512 of 100 bytes, which is 512. Go ahead and click enter, and now we want the following: login logo. Wait, what's going on? Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do this. And then, do you really want to place them? Yes. And I want 1024. So now type in login logo. Wait. So upon my error, I forgot to type in line VTY04. And now we can type in login logo, and from there we can transport our SSH. So we type in transport input SSH. Oops, I forgot to put my S. So now we're transporting SSH. So now we have the following, which is question 10. So the following commands as follow is line aux0 no exec, we're type in no cdp run with line con 0. We're gonna log in. Oops, one moment. What's going on here? So I'm going to type in line con 0 again, and I'm going to type in password cisco123, and then log in. Now exit, and I'm going to close this off. So now, since we have a lockout within our system, and what we're going to want to do is type in exit after all the commands we had manually inserted. And once we do that, we're gonna want to exit the program, and we're gonna have something that looks like this. And we're gonna have R1 con 0 is now available. Please return to get started. So in order to have access to the CLI for router, we now have a user access verification. By that, which we did for question 10, is setting up a password so that the user can access the CLI to configure within the terminal. So our password in which we generated is cisco123, and now we're able to access our interface. Now, to make sure all our commands are inside our terminal, what you want to do is type in shell run. Oops. And make sure you enable it first, then you type in shell run, and here is a tree of command for our questions rating from 1 through 10. And if we click enter, we see that username admin secret is encrypted, and to compare the difference between non-encrypted password, it will look something like this. So without encrypting with the keyword secret, you would have something that looks like this, which is on the right screen, compared to our left screen, which is encrypted. So yeah, this is Lab1 provided to you by a student at Cal Poly Pomona, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry for the few minor mistakes. This is pretty much a guide to your first lab of network security. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below, and hopefully, I'm there to assist you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you.